Hello everyone, welcome to the first edition of Garry in Lockdown, brought to you by friends at Avast Security. I will start out by introducing our topic for the week, and then in the next segments I'll be joined by an Avast expert and then take your questions. This week we start with the reason I, and probably you, am in lockdown, the novel coronavirus that emerged in 2019, aka COVID-19. It seems like everyone on the internet is an amateur virologist these days. That's fine as a hobby, but don't take your own advice, please. You know how shows and commercials with a lot of crazy stunts say, don't try this at home. Same with being an amateur epidemiologist. Stay informed, but please listen to the professionals and stay safe, everyone. On the last personal note, before we get started, sending my thoughts and condolences out to everyone who has suffered loss during this terrible time. I'm an optimist, but I know there is real hardship out there. We will get through this, stronger than before, humbled and ready and able to be better prepared. Our spirit of innovation always kicks into high gear in crisis. Although, as we will see in this episode, the bad guys are also innovating. Before discussing that and the threats and opportunities we face in this new world, a quick word about the middle ground. That is, the technological solutions that mean well and may even be essential to fighting the virus, but that also have significant risks we cannot ignore. Mass testing and tracking everyone with the virus is the consensus safest way to get our society out of lockdown before a vaccine arrives. The good news is that unlike just 20 years ago, we now have the ability to track just about every person on the planet down to a few meters, thanks to the supercomputers we have in our pockets. That news is also the bad news. We can track everyone, but who is doing the tracking? How can we balance privacy concerns in a life and death crisis? As I've often discussed on my Avast blog, we routinely give up privacy for convenience. We want to open our devices with fingerprints and facial recognition. We depend on GPS maps and algorithms that predict our preferences. We provide Google, Apple, and Amazon with more information about ourselves than we can imagine. Security companies, privacy organizations, and government regulations can push back to protect us. But there isn't much they can do if we voluntarily concede our privacy. That is the standard push-pull in a free and market-driven society. Things are very different in authoritarian regimes, where the government doesn't protect you. In fact, quite the opposite. It will use your data to persecute you in order to increase its grip on power. For example, in Iran, hit very hard by the virus, an official state COVID-19 tracking app was taking a lot more personal information than it disclosed or needed. Citizens of the free world rarely have to worry about the government knowing where they are. But in a dictatorship, like Russia or China, where you can be arrested or even disappear for a social media post criticizing the regime, it's serious business. But we still take our privacy seriously. Germany is already seeing some pushback against the COVID-19 tracking apps over privacy concerns. The good news is that in free countries, there is the ability to work together to compromise. and the apps are already being adjusted to better satisfy those concerns. More concrete threats haven't disappeared either. Cybercriminals must be very excited about the billions of new targets they have now that everyone is working from home. Years of building up enterprise security are practically worthless if we are home on insecure computers and networks. There are already many stories about scammers and hackers operating in this vulnerable new environment. Some good news has come out of a project that originated in Estonia, like so many other digital innovations. It was called the Global Hack. But it was good, don't be mistaken by the title. And I was honored to work on it with Avast. Hundreds of investors, coders, and teams from all over the world contributed projects, some of them truly impressive, especially in such limited time. Creativity really can thrive under pressure. One winner was a solar-powered disinfection station called Suncrafter. Another, called Insidiscope, creates real-time reports for teachers based on student behavior during the remote learning sessions, where 50% of the world's kids are learning today. You can check out all the great projects at theglobalhack.com. Industry is also coming together with government and education institutions to innovate. The Czech collaboration, Corvent, is producing a new ventilator designed for COVID-19 patients. I'm a strategist, and while it's easy to panic in these times and to only think one move ahead, planning is more important than ever. Not just for governments and companies, but for individuals too. Take a moment or two to think about the future, beyond today and tomorrow. Not pie in the sky, not dreams of what you will do when this is over. We do not know when that will be over or what it will look like. Be practical. Look back 2 weeks and think about what you should have done differently. Did you plan ahead well? Now look ahead 2 weeks and 2 months. Better to act now than to look back and regret later. COVID-19 is scary, but it is just a damn molecule. We will beat it. Meanwhile, we should outthink it and outplan it and stay ready. Hope for the best, but be ready for the worst. In our next segment, I'll be discussing the many changes in cybersecurity and privacy in our new lockdown life with Michal Pechucek, CTO at Avast. And also he's a professor for AI of the Czech Technical University in Prague. We will also talk about the tech innovations that are helping us through these difficult times. Before that, please join me in thanking all the doctors, nurses, and other essential medical personnel on the front lines out there. Being stuck at home is terrible, but it is part of the fight as well, doing your part not to overload the hospitals that are already under terrible pressure. Let us think about what else we can do to help safely. And as promised, today I'm joined by Avast CTO, Michal Pechucek from Prague.
Thank you.
We spoke last time in Munich at the DLD conference. And we, of course, made big plans of having more conferences where we could discuss the role of AI and cybersecurity. But the life made its corrections, and now we are, just far away, thousand miles away. I'm in New York, you are in Prague. But thanks to technology, we can talk and we can continue our conversation. And I want us to continue. So this is where we stopped in Munich. It's again about the role of AI and cybersecurity. We're all now working from homes, and nobody thought that we would be forced to work from homes, and that's why home security was not, the top priority. Everybody thought about corporate security, about offices, but home was some sort of the down the road as a priority. So, what do you think about this current crisis, and what can we do about, what Avast can do about cybersecurity for our home computers, and what role AI will play?
So giving me, it's always like very pleasant and fun to have a dialogue with you. So, it was only a few months, when we were debating the potentials of AI at DLD in Munich. And, at this time, we kind of really felt that the world will be changed because of AI, because of climate, because of geopolitics. And, we didn't know at this time that, there is going to be the Black Swan that will kind of change things more quickly and more dramatically that both of us actually thought at this point in time. It's an interesting time. I think everybody is living different lives compared to how we were living. I'm the lucky one. I'm safe. I've got my job, right? You are the lucky one. You're safe and healthy. You've got your job, but there are millions of people who are not so lucky as we are, right? So I really want to kind of think about them for a minute and kind of be sympathetic with all the tragedies that this situation has caused. From the technological perspective, I'm super excited by kind of different way how we live and work these days. This reminded to me this trend that us as cybersecurity specialists 15 years ago we saw. This bring your own device. When kind of people started to bring their cell phones and laptops to work, and they were kind of working from one phone at home and in the office. It was crazy time for all the CISOs. They actually didn't know how to deal with that. It actually changed quite a bit. To be honest, I'm actually feeling in my bones a similar trend currently, because there is a different way how we work. There is nothing like an office and a kitchen any longer, right? So when a company is supposed to provide like a safety and security for their developers, their managers, the leaders, they need to really care as well about the company network, as well about the devices, but also about the home network, right? So the home network is actually becoming an asset that the enterprise, the employer, gonna need to worry about much more than like 3 months ago. So, and actually see this as a kind of great opportunity for everybody who is excited about home security, about smart homes, and about the IoT devices that are connected at homes. So I would kind of compare this situation, this trend, to what we saw 15 years ago when people started to bring their own devices to office.
Yes, but now many of us have simply no choice. So that's you have to work from home, and what are the Avast plans to actually boost the security and to make people feel comfortable? Because all of a sudden the predators on the internet, all these hackers, they got hundreds of millions or probably even billions of new targets to attack. And while the attacks have been getting more and more advanced, people never thought about these attacks directed at them, because they were always protected by the wall of corporate security. Now they are just, you're in the jungles and you have all these predators around just hunting for you, and you are denied of your traditional ammunition that protected you for so long.
It's exciting times, and I disappoint you because I don't have any silver bullet solution. I'm sure that you wouldn't expect me to have fun, right? Because because you're a scientist as much as I am. So it is a complicated time because us being more online and living and doing work online is kind of making us more of a targets in cybersecurity more than before. And evidence of that you see with the Zoom, right? Who
Yep.
would thought that it would be at all exciting to kind of pirate into people Zoom calls? Kind of we didn't see that before until the crisis. And then you see that it was at all possible to log into the meeting of the UK government, right? Because people were able to find backdoors. So these are the kind of type of threats that we didn't see before. Now we are seeing, and it makes us a cybersecurity specialist more busy. So we are seeing like new vectors that we need to worry about, and for which we need to be able to build a detection and classification capability. So it is exciting, and we are more busy than we were before.
In my previous segment, that is, it's all of a sudden people would love to have more robots on the streets or in the hospitals. All the conversations about AI being a threat now is being replaced by, wow, AI could be a savior, because so many jobs now, they're just, they're vacant because people couldn't do it. And robots could really help us to go through this crisis. And also, we recognize that it's the idea of having some sort of UBI, universal basic income. It's already all over the place, and that the only way to handle the crisis is to help people financially, directing money to them, which means that we already distribute money, but we don't have the same productivity as AI could offer us. So what does it tell us about the future development of AI in our daily life?
Exciting. People have been debating UBI for many years, and now we see the UBI with the signature of the US president on the check, right? So things actually do happen like really quickly. AI is a great set of tools and technologies and can be kind of helpful in different kind of situations. And this crisis is not excluded. So I'll, like, anecdotally, I just can share like one or two nice examples where AI is helpful these days. I'm working with a couple of scientists and researchers at Czech Technical University who are experts in robotics. And those guys have been building the spatial temporal models of robots so that the robots can navigate in complex environment about which they have only small amount of data. So this application has been kind of developed for the robots in the hospitals that are there helping patients and kind of need to really be able to understand the changes in the environment from small samples of data. And now those scientists, they work together with experts at MIT. They are trying to use the same spatial temporal models to predict social distancing of people in the areas with high density. And it's the same set of tools and techniques. It's like this complicated math and statistics and probability that is there to kind of help the researchers to use those models for totally different application, not robotics, but being able to predicate people's density. And it's a nice tool. But before you go shopping, you just check in your app how dense it's going to be there, right? And as we have learned how to wash our hands, now we will be kind of learning how to check how busy the shopping mall will be when we go there. So it's kind of one interesting application of current AI. The other interesting application that I'm seeing today is in high-scale computing. Avast is working closely with Folding at Home initiative. I don't know whether you are familiar, Gary, with Folding at Home. It's like, 20 years ago, we were using our PCs to be able to analyze data from the space and detect ET, right? Currently, Folding at Home is the same initiative where people are donating the time of their CPUs and on their laptops and workstations to be able to support scientists in a a calculative simulation of protein binding when they are designing the new cure for pandemic diseases like COVID-19, right? And this supercomputer, which is one of the biggest in the world, is composed by ordinary people like me and you donating some computational time to those experiments, is now accelerating and making the computational shortcuts for the scientists to come up with the cure soon. And us in Avast, we are like really proud that we are supporting the Folding at Home initiative by three things. First is linking the Folding at Home initiative with our 400 million users that can really donate their time. Second, by funding the backend development of Folding at Home. And the third one is by providing these security checks.
Yes, but it raises some new questions, because when we're talking about social distancing and we understand that it will not go away, even when the crisis is subsided, there still will be challenges, and we all expect now the second wave of pandemic. And as washing our hands, social distancing will become part of our life. But if AI recognizes what is the ideal distance between two individuals in a shopping mall, that means AI will have all the data about our movements and our whereabouts. Now, the next question is, are we comfortable about it? We're being tracked, but who is doing the tracking? We're being watched, who is doing the watching? So it's how can we make people feel better about the fact that the health concerns and other issues that are related to our social life, they ought to become part of the global database to make our lives better. But at the same time, we should guarantee that this massive data that will tell everything about us will not be used to harm individuals.
Gary, you nailed it. It's not AI who is the enemy. It's the way how we are using the data about our behavior that can become an enemy, right? So, and to your point, I'm similarly scared to how you are scared, because I don't want to freely give out my location data to some entity that I don't trust, and let them in the end to really be able to predict what is it that I'm going to do. So I actually think there are like a couple of technological solutions, right? Like some of the companies are currently providing AI-based, homomorphic encryption-based tools for mining data that are being properly encrypted. So there is like set of theoretical guarantees that nobody can reconstruct the data sample that would be providing an evidence. As one of the solutions. The second one is a community-based data donation. So there are apps where people agree that they would be sharing the data only among themselves. Like you can have an app that would be supporting a community, similar like a neighborhood watch, right? So where the neighbors are watching for the safety and security of their homes. So there can be like an app that would be only working for people who live in this specific area, and they will be sharing data among themselves without a carrier managing their data.
So they'll have some sort of localized AI watch.
Yes, localized.
They'll invest in it, and they will be some kind of partial owners of this AI compound. And and what are just very briefly, we're just coming to end our program. So what are the Avast plans now? Just while we have all these new challenges, but as you pointed out, every challenge is an opportunity.
So for Avast, a number of things. We continue to to invest heavily into smart home security, home IoT devices, to really be able to provide our users with more visibility into how safe is your environment, because currently many of our users don't even know how vulnerable their homes are through their printers and legacy devices. So that's one thing. And the second one is we're actually moving away from the devices to be like in the center of what we do. And we are starting to focus more on users' identity. And we would like to really kind of do more R&D and more engineering in this whole space of users' privacy and identity, so that we can understand and provide our users with better protection of their identity.
Okay, so that's, that brings us to an end of this segment. So Mikhail, thank you very much. So hopefully, we'll meet again at the conference sometime this year. No,
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
But in the meantime, stay well and healthy. And I guess the situation in Prague is better than in New York. So it's gradually improving. Yeah.
It's okay. We've been lucky. We've been lucky, and my thoughts are with the Americans who were not as lucky as us here in the Czech Republic. So thank you for having me, Garry. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So that's the end of our second segment. And as promised, so please send us your questions and suggestions about the topics you would like to be discussed in this program. And in the third segment, will be dedicated to responding to your questions and opening a field for future debates. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. A question now from Donna McKee. She asks, what is the best way to prevent identity theft? And what is the best way to protect your private, personal information online? This is an important question and a big one. There is no one way. And even if you do everything right, bad things can happen. Unless you live off the grid in a cave somewhere, your data is vulnerable. And since you submitted your question on Twitter, that's not the case. There are many good websites with checklists you should follow to keep your identity and data as safe as possible. Google USA Identity Theft for 2 good official government sites. Avast.com also has some good pages on privacy and data protection. In general, what we all should do is be very aware every time we are about to give out sensitive personal information, online or off. Things like your social security number and birth date should only be used in trusted environments. I often write on my Avast blog about the need to follow what I call good digital hygiene. Just like you wash your hands a lot now and brush your teeth every day, good personal hygiene habits. Good digital hygiene is things like being careful with your sensitive personal data, having strong passwords, using security software, and paying attention to the default settings whenever you add a new device to your network. That last item is especially important these days, when everything from your car to your toothbrush is online. In this Internet of Things era, your network and your data is only as safe as the weakest link in the chain. And many of these products are made by famous appliance brands that have no experience in the internet or in security. You should also have a recovery plan in case it does happen to you. And don't blame it all on the internet. There can be as much exploitable data in your paper garbage as there is online. Last question comes from Larry Burkowski. He asks, what is your favorite response to E4? Well, after politics and cybersecurity, it's nice to have a chess question, although it's not exactly on topic for this series. I've been retired for a while now, but I think I still remember how to move the pieces. My personal favorite response to E4 is an easy answer. First, C5, the Sicilian defense. I dabbled with other moves like the Caro-Kann with the first C6 when I was a youth, and the occasional classical reply, first E5, but the sharp asymmetrical Sicilian with the first C5 was always the best fit for my aggressive tactical style. And I played it far more often than any other move. The variations are often long and complex, fertile ground for the deep preparation I enjoyed. And the unbalanced positions allow me to play for a win with the black pieces, instead of merely trying to equalize and draw. Everyone should find their own style. And of course, I'm biased here. But I think for most casual players, the dynamic play of first c5 and the Sicilian is the way to go. Thank you for watching. Please join me in thanking everyone out there fighting this virus. And please, send me your examples of creativity against COVID-19, your tips for guest speakers, and your questions and comments. Stay tuned. The next episode is coming soon. I'm Garry Kasparov, and this is Garry on Lockdown.